Now, obviously, Nedum, Arsenal were the home team today. They've got the injuries that they have. They've even lost more players in this game today. Did we learn anything about who City's closest challengers are from this game today?
Oh, that is a good question. I think as we see the league table now, it is these three teams that are at the top. It's City, it's Liverpool, it's Arsenal, and I'd imagine that still being the case. I think the head-to-heads that they'll have throughout the season will just be very different. Like, say, when Man City go to play at Anfield, inevitably they'll probably lose there. But when Liverpool come to play at the Etihad, maybe they'll lose there as well. So I think it's more a case of how they do in those other games. And I think as it stands, Liverpool, as we've seen, they've won 11 of 13 games so far under Slot. I can see that continuing on. And this little mini test that they've had, I think they've looked okay within it. But for me, the biggest strength is their ability to beat all those other sides, sometimes convincingly, sometimes not, but still enough to put the points on the table. And I think for Arsenal, they know that for now they have dropped points throughout this season as it stands, but they've got players to come back in. They've got their best version of themselves to come, and they're still kind of there or thereabouts for now. And I think for them, that's a big one because today I think many people, myself included, probably didn't fancy them against Liverpool. But Arteta, whether he's trying to do the messaging for his players or whether he actually believes it himself, he's saying to the press afterwards he thinks his team deserve to win. And that's the team that features a youngster at left back. It features Thomas Partey at right back. It features a backup in Kiwior at centre back and Ben White, who doesn't really play centre back anymore, in there as well. So credit to them for being able to compete against the Liverpool side. And as I say, Liverpool in some ways I'd imagine they'll take the point. So again, that's credit to Arsenal.
I'll tell you what, speaking of save and measure, that was a save and measure response from Nedum, who I know, when that second goal went in, there were celebrations. Because this is the best result for Manchester City. That Liverpool is dropping points, that Arsenal is dropping points. We're still not at our best if you're Manchester City, and we're top of the table, and here we go. At some point, we're going to get better. These guys, they just took points away from each other.
Is it still a three-horse race then, Ali?
What was that again?
Is it still a three-horse race?
Well, yes. Why wouldn't it be? First of all, we're 9 matches in.
But if City are going to get better...
Well, yes. I imagine that they will because, to Frank's point, man, it used to be exciting to watch Manchester City play. Over the last few weeks, it's become hard work to watch Manchester City play.
Yeah.
However, they are top of the table. They are winning games.
Yeah.
I think eventually they're going to get better. Eventually players will get healthier. They have to be more dynamic in the attack. Regardless, they are where they should be or they think they should be, and it helps that Liverpool and Arsenal took points away from each other.
Frank?
Yeah, I'm very worried about that because normally they drop points, they waste points at the beginning of the season, and then around December they start waking up and come back, and we have interesting end of the Premier League, but they're already first. They're already 5 points ahead of Arsenal. That's not very good news for Premier League and the others. If they keep on doing what they do, what normally they do, it's gonna be not even a three team race. It's gonna be a 1 team race because they're gonna keep on moving up and nobody's gonna be able to follow them.
Nedum, you okay with them not being happy with Manchester City and the way they're playing at the moment?
No, I think that's fair. And I think in some ways you can probably make the same sort of statement about, say, Arsenal in these early weeks of the season. I think it's due to the fact, in my opinion, that 2 of the most creative players in the Premier League have been unavailable or not at their best. You're looking at Odegaard for Arsenal. You're looking at Kevin De Bruyne for Man City. I think when he comes and he plays, he's different to the rest of the team. Like, the way he perceives football is different to the rest of the players around him who have, like, a great belief in sort of, like, structure. And at times you could call it safe, but again, it's the whole measured approach. Like, you can't score if we've got the ball type mentality. But I think what I would say about Man City in this moment, yes, yesterday Haaland had a ton of chances. It could have been a 4-0, could have been 4-1, whatever. But as you look at their bench right now, they don't have the depth. And I'm curious to see when the likes of a Grealish and Doku come back in. When a De Bruyne comes back in, you've got Kyle Walker as well. And when those guys start to come back in, I think they might look a bit different because they'll have different options, different ways to go and take it at teams. But for now, the players that they put out there, it feels like that's all they have. And with some tough games coming up before the next international break, it's going to be key for them to get those bodies back for after that break finishes.
Final thoughts, Stevie?
So is the team to beat? I guess before the ball was kicked, we thought that maybe trying to do it again was going to be too much. Is Pep going to be leaving? Can De Bruyne last? I mean, we had a lot of questions about City before this Premier League started. But yet they're sitting top of the league. So City's the team to beat.
And can I just say, Arsenal, they got to be careful. They got to stay in touch.
Yeah.
And today was a must not lose, cannot lose sort of match. But they were there in order to win it. And they were there in order to win it against Manchester City. And late goals now have come. And late goals then is 2 points walking out the door against Manchester City and against Liverpool. And here we are. It's very early on, but you got to stay in touch. You got to stay in touch with City. You got to stay in touch with Liverpool. And right now they're trailing. And they get injury issues that don't seem to be going away. We keep talking about Odegaard, but now what happens with a center-back pairing and what happens with the immediate future of Arsenal? They have to be very careful they don't go on a negative run here.